Dean Kruse, and we're going to talk about some funny stories. As a kid, my dad, I grew up in a body shop, an auto repair body shop, and as a kid, as it got closer to auction time, they would start hauling these classic cars in, and maybe some of them would be damaged from the traveling. They'd bump into each other in the trailer and different things. Well, Dean and his staff used to send all these people out to my dad, and so as a kid, I used to help fix some of these cars. I remember we had one that was from the Fonzie movie one time, and we had Diana Shore, which was a famous lady. We had her car in the shop one time. I mean, it seemed like we always had these really neat cars and stuff.
You might have had Princess Diana's too.
Well, and that's a possibility too.
Yeah, because we sold that over there right after she died.
Okay, because we had so many cars coming and going all the time. And of course, I got a lot of overtime pay during those days because they would always show up, and of course you had to work all night to get it done so it could be on the auction block. And I even remember one time one of the guys had to stand there and kind of be wiping on the fender while the car was selling because it hadn't even got buffed out yet, so he couldn't let that corner be shown until after the auction, and then we had to buff it. But there was this one car that was, well, you guys always had things going on that seemed like it was high media, but I remember this one car that was owned, I think,
we had the Beatles car.
Well, let's talk about that one. We had a John Lennon.
Yeah.
There was a car that was John Lennon's.
That's right. He actually used it with the whole group of the Beatles as a promotion.
Okay.
To promote them.
And now we never had that at our shop, but I remember that car mysteriously got stolen at the auction, and it was all over national news, and the police were everywhere. They might have even came to our shop looking in our shop because everybody was looking for this car that come up missing. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, that was really interesting. We had worldwide publicity. It was painted real psychedelic colors. It's in some museum somewhere.
Yeah, it was their Bentley. It was the Beatles Bentley, and it was really weird paint.
Yeah, and so anyways, the owner had bought it from the Beatles group when they were done touring, and he brought it here to the sale, and all of a sudden it come up missing. So I said, you got to be kidding me. You sure look everywhere around here. Looked everywhere because we had like 1,000 cars. We couldn't find it anywhere. So I went to the owner. I said, where is that car? Do you know? He says, oh, I don't know. You owe me money if that car is missing. I said, I brought it in here and checked it in, gave you guys the keys. I said, well, we're looking for it. So I got hold of the police, the state police, FBI, everybody I could call. I had looking for that car because it was worth a lot of money. And in fact, when we did find it and sell it, it was in National Geographic magazine, 2 full pages of the car pictured. The National Geographic magazine was here. We had magazines all over the world. Anyways, this guy, the police really got to going everywhere. And I was busy with the auction, and I can't remember exactly how it come clean or how they figured it out. But the guy that owned it did it to get publicity, and he took it and found a lady at her garage door open in Auburn. Told her, I want to store a car here. I'm in town for the weekend. Can I do it? I'll give you $100. She said yes. She was a lady about 75 years old. He drove it in her garage and shut the door. You could have never found it because she didn't even know what she had there. You could have asked her. She wouldn't have known. But anyways, he went and got it and had a police escort, brought it back because that made publicity everywhere. And made it maybe bring more money. I don't know, but that was scary. Yeah.
But then this one car, it was the ugliest, beat up little piece of trash car I ever remember. I come home from school one day, and this car is sitting in my dad's shop, and I'm looking at this thing going, what is this? And he goes, well, it's another one of Dean Kruse's deals. It's the Pope Mobile. And I said, what? And so tell us about that.
Well, that was really an interesting story. I got a call from the Vatican, and I just talked to this priest. I don't know, he was high up. And he said, I've been told that you sell unusual things, especially automobiles. I said, yes, we do. We do them all over the world. He said, well, I've got the Pope's car, the only car that a Pope has ever individually owned. No other cars they've ever used has any Pope ever owned. This is the only one. And he drove it up into the mountains, and he would, because he loved to watch the wildlife and see the mountains, and he loved to get alone by himself. But they've told him he had to sell it. He's had it now about 5 years. They said, you got to get rid of it. Somebody's going to find out about it. They're going to kidnap you. It's going to be a big scandal. You got to sell it. You got to sell it. So he finally told me to find somebody to sell it. I thought, holy smokes, this has got to be great. So I said, yeah, I think I can. I think I can do that for you. So we made arrangements on how to ship it here and everything, and we got it. We picked it up in Detroit. Got a truck down here, and then there's things. Well, that was terrible. The car is worth about, what'd you say, $600, $800?
At the most. It was the most junkiest little car
Beat
I
up.
think was ever in our shop.
It was beat up so bad. And he just, actually that Pope smoked.
Really?
Yeah, and he smoked in that car. It smelled terrible like smoke. But anyways, I think that's why he went up the mountain, so nobody seen him smoke. But he was a great Pope, probably the best one of all, I think. But anyways, we got the car. You guys fixed it up. We got it going and got it in the sale. I'm not even sure it ran. Did it run?
I don't think so. I
think we
can't
pushed it
remember,
on the
but we
turntable.
pushed it. We had to push it around, and the wheels were locked,
Yeah.
turned. So we had to use a floor jack under it and fight with it. Everything we did with that car.
So anyways, we got it up with the podium, and man, I mean, there must have been 150 TV cameras from all over the world. They were here from Rome, and they were here from Europe, and they were here from all over, everywhere. And that was quite a deal. I couldn't believe it. So we're auctioning the car, and I have several museums bidding on it, and we get up to like, I don't know, it was junk. But it was an important piece. What was it, 170, 80,000?
Somewhere around there.
200 maybe?
Yeah, it was a lot.
About up to 200,000.
Yeah.
And so anyways, a young kid, about 20 years old, maybe 21, stepped up and put up his hand and bought the stupid car. Well, I knew him, and I knew he was from out near Chicago on the west side. And I knew his dad was very, very wealthy, owned big factories and was very wealthy, and they had a big car collection. But he bought it, not his dad, he bought it. So he bought the car, and he had a shirt, a t-shirt, and this guy had hair about as long as yours, and he had his t-shirt on, and it said, F-U-C-K-U. That's what he bought it in. And I said, oh my gosh. I get to tell him he's got to get somebody to give him a shirt right now. He's not going on national TV with that stupid shirt on. So somebody, I don't know how they got it, but one of my men got him a shirt and he put it on. So he comes over and we got this Monsignor there from Rome, and he gives him the key and they talk a little bit. And part of the deal was you got to go meet the Pope personally.
Okay.
So they made arrangements for him to fly over and meet the Pope and everything. And so he takes the car up to his dad's museum. His dad's mad because he's at the piece of junk and everything. His dad's a big-time businessman. So anyways, they get in a big fight, and they fight, and they fight, and they fight. And the dad had to loan him some money to buy the car. Somebody said, I want my money back in so many days, 6 months or something. So anyways, the kid couldn't come up with it. He was into drugs. He was really a kind of a wild guy. Nice guy, though. He used to come to the sale, and he loved cars. He hung around with his dad for 10 or 12 years at the sale. Now he owns the only car ever owned by a Pope. Jim Rich was his name. Just come to me, Jim Rich. And he was in magazines and newspapers all over. He went over and met the Pope, got his picture taken with the Pope, took the keys along. He had the Pope hand him the keys, and he got a little letter from the Pope. He really did it up right. So then him and his dad get to fighting really bad, and they go to court. And so the judge says, well, you got to pay your dad back. And he says you're going to have to resell the car and pay him back. If not, you got to deed the car over to his dad. And his dad said the car won't bring 20 grand. So anyways, his dad then wants a court order, said he controls the car until the car is sold. So the judge says, well, okay, you keep it there in your museum. So anyways, while the judge, it takes 2 or 3 days, Jim called me on the phone. He says, I got the Pope car in a truck. Where can I take it? I said, what are you talking about? He says, I think they'll be after me because he said, my dad just got custody of the car and I'm not giving it to him because he'll keep all the money even if it makes money. And it might make money. I said, Jim, that car won't make money. You'll lose 150. He said, no, I think it will. So anyways, he said, find me a place to hide it. Did you guys get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to find a place where I could have it put. So we put it somewhere, and then the heat was really on because they found out that he'd taken it out of the museum on a truck. And so they thought, you know, Dean Kruse, so they called me. I had the cops, the FBI, everybody calling me, and I said the truth. I never lied to them. I said I never touched that car, and I never seen it being loaded or shipped anywhere. And I'm not exactly sure where it is. I don't know. I've heard rumors. So anyways, I thought, man, we got to get that car out of here because they barreled down our necks. So we got a farmer out here and a trailer for him, and we put that Pope's car in that trailer, and we shipped it to Las Vegas, just driving down the interstate with that Pope's car in the back of the trailer, passing hundreds and hundreds and thousands of cars. Nobody knew the Pope's car was in there. We took it out in a parking garage where we were having the sale, and we put up some of these, what do you call them, with banners?
Yeah, like petitions or something.
Yeah, put it up around the car. We paid a guy like $300 or $400 for a parking garage, where it was in the parking garage, in fact, of the hotel where we were having the auction, which was a Hilton. And they didn't know what they had there. Nobody did, because we didn't dare. So we get down to about 5 days for this auction, and we start blasting all over news releases, everything. The Pope's car is going to be resold in Las Vegas on this date, you know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And bad live, we had cops calling and everything. Anyways, I finally told them they were getting pretty hot, and I said, let me tell you something. You want this Pope car, this piece of metal, or do you want to attach the money that it brings? Well, no, we don't want the stupid Pope car. I said, okay, let me have the sale, then you file court papers to attach the money. So we have the sale, and I bug it along. I'm up to about 110 or 20,000, and we were all done. There was an older man sitting there that was bidding on it, and I saw him. We were installed at 60,000, and I saw him looking, and he looked really interested. I said, "Do you want to bid, Joe?" He says, "You know, I think I will." And he bid. So they took it up to about 120, 30,000. There was a man by the name of John O'Quinn, who was one of the wealthiest lawyers in America. He was sitting out there. He watches all this, and I get all done. Here it goes. And again, they're going to lose, you know, about 50, 80,000. And John O'Quinn stands up and says, 100,000 more, whatever. He bid a big bid, and he thought that would shut the guy off. Maybe he said 200,000, and the guy bid 210, and John O'Quinn said 250, and the car brought like 275,000. It made like $75,000. So we sold it to John O'Quinn and went to his museum down in Houston, Texas. And the big thing is that he paid his dad completely off and had like 70, 80,000 left over. And so he was so happy he didn't know what to do. He was kissing me and going crazy. And I said, Jim, slow down. But that was one deal come out okay. And the last I heard, John O'Quinn then got killed in an automobile wreck about 4 years after that. He was going to build a big shrine, a really nice display for the car. And he got killed really young. He was like 57, 8 years old. A good friend of mine. I liked him a lot. And his car, then they hired RM to sell the collection along with Sotheby's. And it was interesting. They let RM, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to, they let RM appraise the cars. And of course, he had like 1,200 cars. So about 150 of them were really, really unusual cars. RM appraises them really high. Like a car, well, he paid a lot for them, $500,000. And so when he went to him, he said, "Okay, you want Sotheby's to have some? Here, give them these. These are the top ones, and you and them can deal with those." They lost money on every one, and he kept all the rest of the other 800 or so. Made a fortune selling them all. Wow. So it was really turned out well. But they kept the Pope car to last, and the last I heard, I was trying to get him to donate it to the museum over here, to our museum. But I never heard what happened. I don't know if they ever sold it or if they maybe gave it to some church or something. I don't know where it is. But that was an interesting story.